Hi, how you doing? My name's Mike Weir, and we'll be spending the next 8 weeks together in our course. And Just wanted to take a few moments this afternoon to give you some idea of my philosophy, I guess, or where we're going to go, and give you some ideas also on how we're going to conduct the course this semester. Uh, First of all, what's our mission? Our mission is to make you come out of this course as better prepared healthcare leaders. Uh, Pretty simple. I and you, that's the we here, are going to spend the next 8 weeks together challenging each other to look at what's happening in healthcare operations and management, and with that vision, develop a plan that's going to make us better. I learn every time I teach the course, I learn from you all, and hopefully you'll learn from me. Uh, One of the things I really want to stress is this is graduate school and I expect critical thinking. Uh, for example, on discussion boards, to go in there and say, oh yeah, Jim, that was really smart, or Sally, that was a brilliant comment you made. Come on now. We got to do better than that. So, in your initial post, the other thing I don't want is kind of like your opinion, because your opinion has to be backed up with some kind of fact or some kind of reason or factual background. Just to say, I think we should all have health care. Fine, but there's a lot of other questions that follow from that. What do you mean we all should have health care? What do we mean? Who pays for it? How's it organized? So I want you to look at the problems, look at the questions very critically, and look to give me back something that indicates that you're thinking uh, more about the situation rather than Paul parroting or just telling me a story about that starts with once upon a time and ends with they all lived happily ever after. Uh, One of the things I find that works well in discussion boards as well as in papers is research. We are blessed at Mary Baldwin to have access to the library, Grafton Library, as convenient as it is. Whenever I start talking like this, my son, who's a businessman now, says, Dad, what you're saying is you're an old buzzard. But I remember having to go to the library and get the little pieces of paper and go to the stack. I've just probably in the last year and a half used Grafton more than I've used libraries in both of my graduate school careers. Easy access. So what I'm saying is, when you're writing a paper, when you're taking a position, read a little bit. Find out what some other people think and quote those people or reference them. Cite them, I guess is the proper word. Don't tell me stories that I think, because they become very easily attackable. So again, to use my favorite example, everybody always writes about how we should have universal health care, and then stops. Well, what do you mean by universal health care? Does everybody get it? Do the richest of the rich get it as well as the poorest of the poor? Uh, where Who pays for it? How's the payment mechanism working? So when you just say, I want universal health care, yeah, that's a really great idea, but it's something that doesn't have any connotation that you're critically looking at that problem. Um, Speaking of assignments, you have a discussion board every week, and you have an assignment every week. I have had the luck, privilege, whatever you want to call it, of doing both of my graduate degrees while I was working full time. And I imagine some of you or all of you are doing the same thing. That's why you're doing them online rather than in campus. I understand the difficulties between your job, uh, this course, your family, your social life, and weaving them all together is difficult. It's one of the things that makes me, when I see someone who got their degree online or got their degree at night school or something, it's one of the things that makes me say, boy, they have already demonstrated their ability to keep 4 or 5 balls in the air and juggle them. Get to the point is that there's deadlines, and if you work right now or you've been to school, deadlines are meant to be kept. But I also understand that certain things, certain times, things come up that you just can't get there from here. What I ask is you communicate with me before the assignments due. So if the assignment's due at 11:59 on Sunday night, your assignment, don't drop me a line at 11 o'clock and say, "Oh, geez, things were really bad this week, and I thought I was going to get it done." Plan ahead. If you have a family get together on the weekend, and you're going to be traveling, you're going, you get sick, that your kids get sick if you have kids, and you're not going to get it done. Or work. I had a student one time. They were doing a big push in the business office, and she had to work through the weekend, and it wasn't in her schedule. Dropped me a line and said, "Here's the problem. I'm going to be late." And offer me like you do in the real world, offer me a solution. I won't be able to make it Sunday night, but I'll have it by Monday at 3 o'clock. And then I'm fine with that. No harm, no foul. What really gets me excited is when Sunday comes and Monday morning when I get up to grade the papers, you don't have a paper in and you don't have any notification at all. If you're in business, that's pretty sloppy, and we don't want to be sloppy here. So I understand. Again, I was in the Navy, and we had a guy one time who we calculated had 7 grandmothers, because every time he wanted to take off, he'd say, "My grandmother died," and we finally started counting them and found out that there was a lot. So every week shouldn't be a crisis. Every week shouldn't be, "I'm going to be late Sunday night because dog ate my homework." But obviously it happens, and we'll take a look at it. The other thing I want to talk about is communications. This course, I love teaching on ground. I love having the interchange with students back and forth and kind of all getting together. But this is okay too. The real key to online course is communicating. I will talk a little bit about that in the next part of this little welcome. But you can't communicate enough. You can't communicate too much, and that was where I was going. So if you have issues, questions, give them to me. Contact me, and we'll talk about that in a second. But don't sit and stew. Some of the courses I teach is several assignments that are interesting and good, but some people kind of look at them the wrong way, and I don't a phone call saying, "Yeah, hey, I really don't understand how this is going, and we can chat for it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and put you on the right path," is much better than sitting in your room in front of the computer stewing for a week. Assignments themselves, how the course is going to work. It's divided up into 8 modules. For each module, I have a lecture that's kind of canned. It's in the can, I guess, but I've done it before when I've taught this course, and it's a series of slides, and it's kind of an outline of the readings for that week. You'll know right away when I talk about Christmas or the snowfall or something that it's not fresh and new. I will each week put on another, and those things take somewhere in an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes. They're voluntary if you want to watch them. I found lots of students find little things I say in there kind of good, and I've seen them in papers saying, Professor Weir said this, but I disagree, or he said this, and it opened up a new point. But again, there's not going to be a quiz or a test on did you watch the slides. Each week I'll come on with about a 10 or 15 minute live video for that week. A video for that week, and we'll talk a little bit about the assignments. We'll talk about some things that I've noticed in the course, or your presentations, or just answer questions, or if there's something in the news that pertains to what we're doing. But it will be a live 10 or 15 minute video, probably worth watching. And then finally, I will have a Blackboard Collaborate session once a week, and that'll be live. I'll be here in voice and picture. You can type in information, and how that works is I put an hour out for the collaborate session. It's voluntary. If you don't go, it's not the end of the world. And in fact, it's pretty much driven by questions you have and thoughts you have, and we can exchange and kind of simulate a live classroom. Um, it's A, not graded, B, voluntary, and some classes I have, there's two or three people that are there every week, and other people I've never talked to. So I'll post it. Usually I do it 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, because I find that's a fairly good time for people. But I'm more than welcome to move it around. I try not to put anything during the days because I think most of you work. So the three things we're going to talk about is we have a slide presentation. We'll have a live chat, a live video to kind of catch up to let you know that I'm still here, and we'll have a Blackboard Collaborate session once a week, which will be live from New York. It's Saturday night, and in fact, that's where I am at right now in New York. So anyway, that's the communication setup. I have been successful over the years, and if you've seen my chat thing, my icebreaker, I spent 20 years as an officer in the Navy. I spent 23 years in healthcare, in the CEO, COO, executive director position. So I'm pretty comfortable in my where I'm at in leadership. I believe in treating people like adults, and I expect to be treated like an adult in return. So let's do away with the games and the drama. If there's a problem, let me know. Don't wait until the end of the course and put on the evaluation sheet. This was the worst course I ever had. I couldn't understand the thing. If you can't understand it, you're having a problem, contact me. My job is to make sure that you leave here in 8 weeks more prepared to be a healthcare executive than you are today when you start. I will do whatever it takes to make that happen. I am available 24/7 for phone. I'm an old retired guy now. I have some social stuff and move around. What I recommend is if you want to talk on the phone, just drop me an email, or the number that's on the syllabus is also it's my cell phone, so you can even drop me a text. If you text, I gotta ask you, I don't have you guys locked in my thing, so I often get a text that says, "Could you call me as soon as possible?" And that's it. I don't know who it is or where it is. So, say, "This is Sally, this is Joe, here's a number, can we talk?" And I'll set something up. I try to answer all my emails within 4 hours during the day and evening. Obviously, if you send me one at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm not up that early. So, but I try to get them done the same day. And that's about it. Again, just a real brief summary of who I am. I think I mentioned before. I've been in healthcare for 23 years, both in health hospitals, physicians' practices. Know both of those areas fairly well. Have friends and have had some exposure to nursing homes, but not probably my strongest suit. I have a bachelor's degree from Penn State in marketing and the Business College, Bachelor of Science. I have a MBA in management from Golden Gate University in San Francisco, and I have a master's in public health from the University of Missouri in Columbia. I've worked in practices from 30 physicians to 300 physicians. I am available anytime, and again, it doesn't have to be about this course. If you kind of say, "Geez, I wonder how this works," or "I wonder how the physician practice thing works," let me know, and we can chat it out. I'm here for you, and that's real important. And you, in turn, have to be here for me. So I expect your work to be complete. I expect it to be well researched. I expect it to be in the absolute best prose that you can develop. Your writing skills are probably one of the things that we don't talk about a lot in life, but when you get out into the real world, the business world, good writing and excellent communication skills are really uh, almost priceless, and if you have them, you're in good shape. Uh, with that, we'll close off this short introduction. When you're sending it back to me, would you do me a favor? Tell me if you're in the healthcare field now, what you've done in healthcare or haven't done, and what your kind of long range goal is, where you want to be. I remember when I started out in healthcare in University of Missouri, I knew nothing. I mean, they were talking about bed days, and I thought that was like long weekends where you never got out of bed. But anyway, um, it kind of helps me set the tenor for where we go in the course. If you're all pretty experienced or have some experience, we can go one way, and if we have to bring some people along, that's pretty easy to go. So again, where you want to go and where you've been, include that in your icebreaker chat. Uh, any other questions? Give me a call, drop me a line. My email and phone number will be on the syllabus. Thanks a bunch, and looking forward to a really exciting 8 weeks.